I can't. I don't even know how to respond without using numbers. I mean,
numbers don't cause things. They're not a cause. Numbers don't cause things. That's not a cause.
No, but I'm not saying that the number was the cause.
Well, yeah, you said plate tectonics caused it, and I'm saying how have you validated that? And you're going to tell me about numbers to validate tectonic plates?
Well, someone told me that we used statistics earlier, so I was using that point.
I don't care what they said. I'm saying maths isn't physical.
So, I mean, are we done with the volcano thing? Are we done with that, or are we what we get?
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say really quick before you ask us how volcanoes work on anything else, you need to first validate how it works in the heliosphere on this globe Earth that you think it is.
Right, have you done that? That's what I'm saying. And I followed the logical progression of data.
Have you?
Okay.
That's just logical inference. That's not proof. You need to.
No, I never said I had proof, but I said I'm skeptical of if it works that way. But I'm saying, is there any evidence to show that it doesn't? That's my question.
Well, you can't say if there's no evidence that it does. Why would you ask us if there's any evidence that it doesn't?
I was asking a group of people who might have access to information that I don't. If there's
we don't know if the deepest hole is 8 miles, what human on Earth could possibly know what goes on beyond that? Even though there are many models with many claims.
That's all I was asking.
No, answer my question. Answer my question. The question being, how could any human know that answer?
No idea.
Too much.
So, can I ask a question?
Then I guess what he's getting at is if you have no idea why any human would have that answer, then why would you ask him or me or anyone? It's not something we can answer, nor can you. So it's just a waste of time.
I mean, all right, I don't agree with that logic because I've listened that you guys said there's a landmass near the North Pole that's yet to be discovered, right? But apparently there's a no-fly zone, so like have any of us actually observed that it's there?
None of us have said that that's actually the case. We speculate that. Is the globe Earth a speculation in your estimation, or is it a positive claim?
Speculation.
Then you really are a time waster because you don't even have a stance. I knew I was triggered for a reason.
Why can't I develop a stance based on the evidence that I see?
It's not valid. No.
That doesn't seem...
If you have it just means you have an incoherent idea. If you're not going to claim anything.
So wait, you guys all believed that the Earth was once a globe, right? When you were in grade school?
I've never believed that it was once a globe. I used to believe that it was a globe. I don't think it morphed or changed.
I would say a lot of us used to. I did. I'll admit it.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. I thought it was a globe when I was young, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So
I didn't question it.
Right. So then you started the process of rejecting that idea and creating a new one.
No,
that's not true. No.
And that was it.
Yeah, I didn't start rejecting it. I started asking questions that I never had the chance to ask. And the more questions that I had that didn't have answers, the more I realized, well, how the fuck do I even know that they told me the truth? That's how we arrived here.
But I'm saying I'm in that quasi state right now.
So have you been shown the math of your model and compared it to reality?
Yeah, I would be possible.
So I know you have already.
It'd be impossible for me to verify anything because I don't have.
You believe it? So you have an unfalsifiable assertion then.
I didn't make any assertion. No, you guys just said you guys are asking questions. I'm asking questions because I'm in the quasi state. That's all. I'm asking questions that you guys once asked yourselves.
Fair enough.
So, how do you guys think volcanoes work?
Doesn't matter.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. No, hold on. I never. Let me tell you something. I've never ever asked an affirming the consequent, begging the question fallacy ever. Since I found out that this was all BS, all I did was ask, how do I confirm XYZ? Okay, how do I confirm X? Why am I asking for confirmation? Because I was told that something was the case. It was claimed to be a fact. Okay, here's fact 1, here's fact 500. I'm going to go from 1 to 500, and I'm going to ask to verify each and every one of these. I didn't say, okay, so how does that work on something else?
How do you think volcanoes work?
See, I'm a bit confused about your logic, but I can respect it.
Well, how do you think volcanoes work?
I think that there is the model I previously believed in, there was a large pressure, and the pressure was so immense that it melted the inner rock into a molten material. And then when tectonic plates shifted, there was an ability for this material to go forward up through the crust due to the immense pressure at the core and come out from the top through some kind of vented hole that we call a volcano.
So you're under the impression that the lava comes from the core?
Well, it comes from underneath the crust, but yes.
Well, no, not even on your model. I mean, the other thing I was going to ask was, how does that prove a spherical Earth, and therefore?
So please don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to prove anything. I was just asking.
That's what I was trying to.
Right?
That's what I was trying to get to you with you, Ballistic, earlier. I was saying, well, we observe volcanoes do these certain things.
Right. And
you don't need to go any further. You don't need to go. Therefore, you live on a dinosaur, or therefore you live on a globe. Like, there's no.
I never said that.
Do you know what I mean?
But
no. I know you didn't, but I was trying to lay out the logical framework from which you can actually assess these observations. Right? You don't need to have a therefore tacked on the end.
So. I'm just trying to I'm asking questions, right? Just to understand, because like I said, so like how I don't understand how the magma could be created on a plane. Like what pressure would?
Why not?
Because I'm confused about what pressure would cause such a.
You think dirt weighs less on a plane than it does on a globe?
No, I do not think so.
Okay, then there's going to be
reality is not dependent on you understanding it.
Yeah, and why would there be less pressure?
Well, because
guys.
If you say,
are we for real? Are we for real? Hold on. Are we for real? He's asserted that it won't work on a plane because it doesn't have the pressure, and we're just going to give that to him?
Did I insert anything?
Yeah, you said it requires pressure.
No, I said that's why I don't understand, and I was looking for guidance. You don't know how it does, neither do I.
So you have no idea how volcanoes work, but you're going to say that they don't work if it's flat.
I never said they don't work. I came in and asked, how do volcanoes work on your model?
You don't even know how they work on yours.
Okay, so that's why I came in here asking.
We end up.
Is the knowledge of how a volcano works a necessary function of being able to measure the surface?
It would help me to be more confident in my decision.
Is it necessary? Is it necessary to understand the functioning of a mysterious phenomenon in order to measure the surface?
No.
The answer
that's a loaded question, because
that's not a loaded question. It's asking if the two are connected logically at all, and they aren't.
Well, see, Hawaii is the production of a volcano.
That's funny because my wife lived in Hawaii and could see, Maui 40 miles away.
Right.
Which should be impossible on your mind. But you think because she didn't know how it was smoking in the horizon that somehow...
No, I was just saying that land mass can be created by volcanoes, which can increase the measurable amount of land on the planet or on the Earth.
So you're saying the Earth is like an expanding yoga ball being blown up?
No, I'm saying that we can observe a natural phenomenon of molten rock entering the sea, and over a period of time, it can be built up and create an extended amount of landmass.
How is that a necessary?
Because it increases the total.
How is that necessarily connected to measuring the surface of a geometric object?
It isn't.
It isn't at all.
But doesn't it increase the measurable surface area?
No, okay. You're measuring over water.
Okay.
Yeah, your water will always conform.
So just you tell us. So it's down to the person making the claim. So if you're saying that the amount...
I didn't make a claim.
Surface...
Continue.
Okay. Well, that's really Weasley.
I asked a question.
Let me just try. So what you're doing is you're reversing the burden of proof without actually making any positive assertion. So you're saying you prove how volcanoes work on a flat plane. Well, how do they prove a sphere? Well, you're not giving any evidence that they prove a sphere.
No.
Therefore,
okay.
It's benign, completely.
Okay. Well, what you guys are doing is exactly what you just said to me. First of all, I'm not saying if you can't prove that A, a globe exists. I'm not saying that if you can prove B, the Earth is flat. I'm just asking, is there any information that you guys hold that I don't, right? About how this naturally observed phenomenon might be
what relevance does that have?
To work.
Didn't I tell you?
Okay, there's no worries. I'll just give you a comparison back. So can you in any way offer any more information than I already have in regards to the premature sycamore pollination in the north of England on a globe? Go ahead.
I don't know. So you're asking about the pollination in the north of England?
Specifically on a globe.
What is the question? You want me to explain pollination?
I want you to explain premature sycamore pollination in the north of England on a globe. Go ahead.
Oh, that is Nathan. Is it? I don't know.
Yeah, it is Nathan. I was like, hold on, that sounds like Nathan.
But I was like, who the fuck is trolling with Nathan's name? I'm about to
let Ballistic think about this.
Maybe while Ballistic's thinking about that, we can ask Biggie Wiz a couple of questions. What's up, Biggie Wiz?
I think if we go away to something else, we're gonna lose track, and he's gonna just
we're gonna lose nothing because I pinned it from the beginning.
Yeah, no, I know. But he asked him a question.
He's a total waste of time.
But he asked him a question. He deserves an answer.
Yeah, fair enough. Do you have an answer for that, or is it totally unreasonable?
How is it unreasonable to ask a...
Well, go ahead, give me your answer.
You don't even.
I'm trying to understand. So you're asking me, right? And I forgive me because I'm not, familiar with the topic that you addressed. I guess it would have to do with the winds blowing the seeds of the tree to new areas, but I don't know how to really address the question further without you expanding on what direction you want me to go.
Well, the specifics were on a globe.
Right. I don't know what specifically. Unless the winds, like the circular winds, were only possible on a globe, I don't see anything else that would mandate pollination to exist only on a globe.
Oh, right. So it really bears no relevance to the shape of the Earth, then, is what you're saying? Kind of like volcanoes.
Oh, no, that's not true, because if it can be understood that the winds coming to blow the seeds for pollination are only available on a globe model instead of a flat Earth model, then that would give it a lot of strength.
Go on, then explain that to me. Yeah, sure, explain that to me.
I don't know anything about wind. I'm saying that would be a piece of evidence that would help show the importance of how something like that could be used to build up one model versus the other.
Sure, but wouldn't it be down to me to make the case for my argument rather than put it on you to prove how that works on a globe? Given that you can't seem to formulate that, you're telling me that it doesn't make sense to formulate it and you haven't got a clue how to do it? Well, that's kind of like us with volcanoes. Just out of interest, are we volcano experts?
But okay, so from my understanding, when I was interviewed to come in here, right, I was told I can ask as many questions and be met with respectful people who are going to try to understand what I'm asking and try to help me change my views, because I'm in here for a reason. I'm not just in here out of boredom, right? I'm in here because I'm questioning.
So now you're being disrespectful because I gave you a perfectly solid answer. That answer hold on.
It doesn't matter.
When you first
perfect answer
came
in my eyes.
I didn't say it doesn't matter.
Someone said it doesn't matter.
I told you no one knows because we've only been 8 miles.
Right, but someone said that it doesn't matter.
Okay, what about what I just told you? If I told you no one here knows, no one on this earth knows, why wasn't that a sufficient answer?
Well, I'm pretty sure like we understand a piece of data that is deeper than 8 miles. I mean, we use seismographs to understand the shifting tectonic plates, which are much deeper than.
If you're gonna use that, you're gonna have to know what material is down there. Again, how did you validate that?
Swaggy, the server is so hot.
Just before you answer that, just a quick question. In terms of the sycamore pollination,
right?
Do you know that that's real?
Sycamore pollination? I mean,
just out of interest, how much do you know about that being real or made up?
I have naturally observed trees in Europe, whether they are sycamores or not. I don't find it directly relevant to that question, but I have noticed I have seen a tree, and then many years later, another tree.
So you are aware of premature sycamore pollination in the north of England on a globe?
Premature sycamore pollination on a globe. I am not aware about this topic, no.
You wouldn't be. I just made it up. I just completely made it up. But volcanoes, you're pretty confident about this plate tectonic activity. Is that something that you've just made up? Or have you verified this and checked it for yourself, or what? How do you know that plate tectonics is what's causing it?
It helps to explain why earthquakes happen, and by using the model of plate tectonics, we're able to predict.
No, we aren't. No, we aren't. We're not able to predict by that. We're able to predict because we have created so many statistical models from just looking at and recording so many earthquakes that we have.
You guys doing this on this lovely day?
Oh, goodbye. Bye, Biggie Wig. Adios. I'm not the person you should have interrupted. Okay. We've created, through constantly looking at them over and over and over and over and over again. That's how we know. It's not because we have a model of what's down there. And we don't know, and we don't get it right. Wasn't there something that happened in the UK where the seismologists got everything wrong, and there were big lawsuits about fracking over there, and it caused all these different earthquakes, and all their predictions were all completely and totally wrong? Same thing happens here, too. Everything they say is like mostly wrong. What are you talking about? There's a model that helps prediction. There's not.
What I was trying to say is that like the model of the tectonic plates help us to understand where earthquakes might spawn from.
Okay.
And where earthquakes might be more prevalent.
What kind of prediction is this?
Can you expand on what the different categories of predictions are available?
Sure, you've got mystic Meg predictions, a bit like Nostradamus, and you've got scientific predictions. Which one is this?
Can you explain the definition? Well, can you define both for me? I want to make sure I'm answering as accurately as possible.
Okay, you described things like volcanoes as natural phenomena on several occasions. Did you know that there was a method designed to establish the cause of natural phenomena? Did you know that there was a method designed to do that?
Did not.
It's called the scientific method. Its only function is to establish the cause of natural phenomena. So when you said prediction, science has got predictions. They predict the cause of effects. That's called a hypothesis.
So, isn't it important for us to predict, using the scientific method, the cause of volcanoes?
Well, you could just use a Mystic Meg Nostradamus model and not actually validate it with science, and then just make up a little story and tell us all about a model, which isn't science. That's pseudoscience. But that's not validating it with science. And to validate it with science would be to establish what actually causes it.
Okay, so yeah, I was saying that I don't know how we got into the topic of tectonic plates, but
well, you made up some little story about a model, and I asked if this was validated with science or how you'd validated it, but we haven't got there yet. So how has this been validated? Is it just a Mystic Meg Nostradamus model?
I guess it could theoretically be. It could, in a Venn diagram of both, I guess there can be a highlighted area where they overlap, because we can say that the earthquakes are caused by something, right?
That would be a supposition, of course.
No. That's I'm working this out with you, right? So we could say like volcanoes explode for a reason, earthquakes happen for a reason, right? Earthquakes are a naturally observed phenomenon, right? And we can say, well, what causes earthquakes, right? Or why do earthquakes happen in these areas, right? And although I guess we can't like dismantle the Earth and find like where every tectonic plate is, what we could do is with a reason as to why and verify that reason, right? By using the statistical data.
No. Statistics, that's abstract. That's not real. That's abstract. Do you know what abstract means?
No, can you explain it to me?
What, maths, not real, like describing things, language, that's abstract. We're talking about physics, the reality of the world we deal with, physical. Physics.
Right,
mate. We're not talking about maths and statistics and Venn diagrams. We're talking about physics, the physical world. That would be phenomena that you observe happening. Now, we're not going to figure out the cause with maths. That's not physics. That's maths. So we need to figure out the cause. And the way you do that is you start with the supposition of cause, what you think causes it. But then to verify it, you have to vary it to see if it does cause it. That's science.
Wait, so you can't use math and physics?
Math is abstract. Physics deals with the physical. Maths deals with the abstract. It's not described, it's just a description, like language. Well, my words aren't a cause of something. They're not physical, they're just words. Whereas if I vary and manipulate something like heat, I can cause water to boil. Well, that's heat being varied. Yeah? Not the maths of heat, not the measurement of heat. Heat, something physical. My point being, what's been varied to validate tectonic plate activity causes earthquakes? Or volcanoes?
It would, in your non-numerical world, I guess I can't. I don't even know how to respond without using numbers. I mean,
numbers don't cause things. They're not a cause. Numbers don't cause things. That's not a cause.
No, but I'm not saying that the number was the cause.
Well, yeah, you said plate tectonics caused it, and I'm saying how have you validated that? And you're going to tell me about numbers to validate tectonic plates?
Well, someone told me that we used statistics earlier, so I was using that point.
I don't care what they said. I'm saying maths isn't physical; it's abstract.
Okay, so it seems like there was two different viewpoints, which is okay to me, but I was great.
My point is you don't know what causes these things that you describe.
Right. So I'm asking for guidance. That's it.
And the guidance is to look for science.
Right. Do we have any science to show why volcanoes are erupting? Do we have any science?
I'm glad you asked. There's absolutely no scientific evidence that we're on a spinning sphere. Zero. None. This won't be any. I just repeat that. There is zero scientific evidence to verify we are on a spinning ball flying through a sky vacuum in violation of natural law.
Right, but I'm asking if there's any. Do we have any scientific evidence to show why volcanoes erupt?
It wasn't our claim; it was yours. You brought it up, so maybe you could tell us, given that you brought this subject up.
Right, but I'm asking.
Hey, can I also add there that don't you think if we knew? Don't you think if we knew what caused volcanic eruptions, we would do something about the people in their homes just being laid waste from these volcanic eruptions? Don't you think?
Why didn't we just say no then?
Well, I fucking told you that an hour ago. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? That was my straight cut.
So,
and then I got mad when you just didn't accept.
We do not. We have no evidence to show why volcanoes erupt.
We have
correct?
a couple pieces that lead to different theories. In the current paradigm, it's supposed to be seas of magma with puzzle piece continents floating on top that occasionally slip past each other or whatever and cause an earthquake, volcano, whatever. But there's problems even with that theory. When they do sounding